Hi, welcome back. My name is Saka JD and I'll be your host for today's game. To the left we have Foki and to the right we have Dennis. So this is going to be a best of 5 where the games are going to be played on an arbitrary world. And the first round will start in moving, then it will switch to no move, back to moving, no move, and then the fifth one will be NMPZ if no one has won the best of 5 yet. Looks like we should be in the UK. Maybe Scotland because of how empty this land is. Both players see the board. They're not able to take much information from it as it is quite blurry. Fofi keeps on going towards the lighthouse. Maybe the car would help. Both players are exactly the same place, but can still not read those signs. Okay, so we got some gates, which are a good indicator for UK as the ends are not rounded. Fofi goes Ireland, which is not a bad guess. Dennis seems to be going towards the Azores. Interesting. And this is going to be big damage by Fofi here. Oh, and it was actually Ireland. Interesting, and that's game. GG's Fofi. And we got the typical Czech-Slovak bollards. Both players zooming towards the opposite sides of the road. Fofi zooms in towards the car and sees an EU license plate, which is great. 30 seconds left on the clock. And Fofi zooms in towards Europe. And then it zooms in towards Brazil and towards the Amazon rainforest. Could this be game here? Looks like this might be game here. 15 seconds left on the clock, and Fofi's locking in towards the Baltic states. Dennis changes his mind and zooms in towards Europe. What a save. Zooms in towards Norway. And what a guess by Fofi. Locks in towards Czechia. What a guess. And that's game. 3-0 Fofi. GG's. GG's to both players.
What's up, guys? My name is Danger Champion, and today I have my partner Thomas here. Thomas, explain.
Hello guys, I'm Thomas, I'm from Poland, and I will today analyze games because I was pro player like 3 years ago, so a long time ago, but I think I still know how to play this game, and I hope this fight will be also entertaining for me. So I think we can just start. Can we start?
Yeah, let's start this now.
My first guess was Brazil, but well, it may be actually Brazil, but this round is really hard.
What makes you say it's Brazil?
Well, dirt is kinda red. And the trees. Wait, first guess. It's actually South Africa.
Yeah, Toto is locked in on South Africa.
Wow.
Charles.
Okay.
Yep. Toto makes a big cut into Charles Ma's health, and he is now 1500 health.
Well, this guess was crazy actually. 64 kilometers, so close to Johannesburg. I would never say that.
Yeah.
Charles had no idea and guessed chat. Okay, this is much easier. This is Iceland. So this is Iceland because we've got yellow bollards and whole environment right there. Looks like in Iceland.
Yeah.
No trees.
Yeah. Alright. Charles is now looking at the sign. Charles Mart has opened their map. Toto's also opened their map and zooming in on Stockholm.
Okay.
Yeah. Charles is on Iceland though, and they've now locked in on Iceland. Toto's still exploring the area.
That would be actually a lot of points. Maybe 2000.
Ooh, looks like Charles Mom made the right guess.
3000 points.
Yep.
Alright.
Like nearly half of Toto's health has now been cut off.
There is science. Oh, and this is actually Luxembourg, I think. I think this is Luxembourg, or yeah, this signs, yellow signs, should be Luxembourg. Really interesting location. We've got mix of German and French, so it makes sense.
So hopefully they find the signs and are able to make that guess accordingly. Toto is moving across the road. Charles Mont is looking around the map, trying to find any details within the forest. Toto's still walking around the road, and they have now made it to the signs. They are zooming in on the signs. Charles has now opened their map. Toto is looking at the other sign. They're still looking. Charles is now moving their map.
Oh my god.
On North America, and they placed their dot on North America. Ooh.
This can be actually a game.
And they have placed their dot on the capital of Belgium. They've locked in on Belgium. Charles has now placed their dot on North America, and with that, Charles loses the first match.
GG. So it looks like British Columbia, like close to the Vancouver, because we've got mountains, like American road, American in Canada type of road, and high mountains with the snow. So I'll guess somewhere there, next to Vancouver, maybe a little bit more north. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. In the third round, Toto and Charles Mott have now spawned in. Toto looks around and looks down on the road. They're zooming in, and now they're looking up in the sun. Charles Mott is looking at a telephone pole. Toto's looking at the trees. Same thing with Charles Mott. Both seem pretty confused. Now Toto's zooming in at the end of the road. Charles Mott zooming in at the trees yet again. This time Toto is zooming in near the US-Canadian border and have got slightly above of North Dakota. Charles Mott has now zoomed in on South America and placed their dot near Brazil, Ecuador. 13 seconds left on the clock. Charles Mott has locked in on their guess, and same thing with Toto. Toto was 247 kilometers close to the destination, to the actual location, and Charles Mott has now been killed. Toto wins the second match.
Okay, so we've got Ghana. This is Ghana. We've got a lot of palms, so this should be southern Ghana. But where exactly? I think they will find something. My guess is between Kumasi and Accra. Somewhere there.
Well, then let's find out. Toto and Charles in the third round of this match. They have now spawned in. Charles has already opened their map. Toto's looking at the sign. They have placed their dot on Pakistan, and they're already locked in. Damn, this guy is really quick. Or maybe he doesn't know. Who knows? Toto zooming in near the back of the car with only 20 seconds left on the clock. Will they be able to make their guess on Ghana? Yep, they're zooming in on Ghana. They placed it on Accra, and yep, they were only 38 kilometers away. And Charles has now been slayed, utterly slayed by Toto. What's up, guys? So today we're doing this NYC Geoguessr Tournament, and today in this round we have C4 Set versus Johnny. Very interesting.
Quebec, Canada, with these bollards.
Quebec. Now this round could either break C4 Set, or they could continue with their streak. 48 seconds left on the clock. C4 sets very low health, but there is a possibility that they may be able to beat Johnny, even though they have a lot more health on the bar. C4 sets zooming in on a sign. Now they're opening the... Yeah, there's like a lot of French. Johnny's also zoomed in on a sign. Now they're looking at the road. They're moving. C4 sets zooming in on another sign. Now they're locked in. Oh, dang. And they already lost. Wow. Looks like Brazil.
Brazilian poles and black side of the sign.
Oh, looks like C4 says zooming in on a sign. Now they're looking around the houses, street. Johnny's also zooming in. Seems they have ignored the black sign and are looking at the text instead. C4 says also looking at the text. Do they know about the black sign? Maybe, maybe not. Johnny zoomed in on Brazil. C4 said zoomed in on Colombia though. They placed it dead center. Very interesting. Johnny has locked in on Eastern Brazil. And C4 said still looking around. Looks like they moved left. Ooh! Ouch! Now, where do you presume this is located in?
I think it's mainland Malaysia. We have the left-hand driving and we have this black and white signpost. We got a lot of oil palms and this plant, I don't know what's the real name.
Now they're zooming in on that car. It's a white car with a white license plate. Johnny also looking into more of that car. C4 set has opened her map and zooming in on Laos, I presume. Nope, they're zooming out and they're zooming in on South America and they're zooming out yet again. And they've placed that dot on Brazil. Johnny located is on the literal other side of the globe, and it's Australia, Southeast Asia. It seems that they have locked in on the Philippines. C4 set, they placed it down, and they've locked in on middle of Brazil. Johnny wins the round, and C4 set takes 3,700 damage. You explain this area.
We have this follow car which is found in Nigeria. Right hand drive.
C4 set and Johnny have spawned in on the area. And C4 set's already placed their dot on Brazil. Very, very quick. C4 set and Johnny both looking in on that blue bus with those orange stripes. C4 set's deeply analyzing this bus. Maybe it will give her the right location. C4 set's now looking in on the boxes in those trucks, and now is zooming in on Africa, and they place their dot on Nigeria. Johnny is also looking in on a different truck. It's a water supply truck, and C4 set's opening their map after seeing another sign, and they're seem to be just moving around Nigeria. Johnny gets the incorrect country. Juhu, explain this location here.
Seems like we are back in Macedonia or Serbia. I can feel it. But it's not Macedonia again. We have no car which is common in Serbia and Macedonia and still, like I said.
1 minute on the clock. C4 set and Johnny has spawned. Johnny has zoomed in on that sign. C4 set zooming in on the text and just looking around the map, just getting a feel for the area. Why is there Brazil? Wait, that's interesting. Anyway, C4 sets is looking around these shops. They have now opened their map and they're zooming in on they're moving to Europe, and Johnny's still looking around. C4 set seems to be moving into Germany. Nope, they're going to Russia again. Johnny though is seems to be around the Balkan area, and it worked in his favor. Now, Juhu, explain this area.
So we are in Brazil with red soil, very Brazilian landscape. These eucalyptus trees and rolling hills are very South Brazil. We have brown concrete walls, which is like the southern half of Brazil.
Very interesting.
We have north zone, as you can see, like players are, I guess.
Seems like C4Z and Johnny, they are just moving. C4Z has found a sign, though I don't think it's particularly useful given that it's very muddied out. Oh, they found another sign. That looks Portuguese. C4Z is now zooming in on Brazil. Johnny is still moving around. C4Z has placed their dot on eastern Brazil. The very tip of Brazil, as a matter of fact. Johnny is still moving around, and with 6 seconds on the clock, it's looking very unlikely that Johnny will be able to guess the right location. It seems they are zooming in on Europe, and it did not work in his favor. And where do you think this is located in?
Looks like India with these houses, these kind of traditional clothing. I can't really see this bow, but might be the Karnataka bow.
Southern India. Yeah. C4Z and Johnny have spawned in on the first round of the 4th match. C4Z is zooming in on those 2 people right there, and now looking around. Johnny's also zoomed in on the building and the 2 people, and they're now looking around. C4Z is zooming in on Nigeria, and they place a dot on Nigeria. Very far away from Juhu's initial guess of India. However, Johnny seems to understand the differences, and they have locked in on northern India. Meanwhile, C4Z is still zoomed in on, I think that's Nigeria. Yeah, they're still on Nigeria. With 2 seconds left on the clock, C4Z is locked in on Nigeria, and it did not work in their favor at all. Explain this area here.
So, it's in Indonesia. We are driving on the left. We have this black in gold, which has the Indonesian flag also nice.
Let us start. C4Z has zoomed in on the road. Johnny as well. They've now, I presume they both now know that this is the left-hand drive. And C4Z is zooming in on a specific area of Borneo. They know this. Oh, Johnny has locked in on eastern Borneo. And C4Z with 8 seconds left on the clock. They've now guessed eastern Borneo as well. But C4Z is more south. Now, would you explain this area?
We have fence poles. We have very fence work, very houses.
Johnny has zoomed in on a sign. C4Z is also zooming in on a sign, though it's very less discernible than the other sign that Johnny was looking at. And now C4Z's looking on a sign. Meanwhile, Johnny's looking around the buildings, and it seems that they're wholly unaware of the pole. I presume they are not sure of poles' geographical location. Seems that C4Z is guessing on London, or Britain. I believe it's London actually. And Johnny is zoomed in on Eastern Germany. They've locked in on Eastern Germany, but C4Z is closer. Would you explain this? Location for me.
We have the European car. We have some electric, so it could be basically any Mediterranean country for me. I think, yeah, I mean, it could be Portugal, Spain, Greece. I had the one probably go 3 set. But it's very difficult.
People said is zooming in on that lake pond. I don't care about the distances. That's not my job, that's Juhu's job. But anyway, now they're looking at the road. Johnny's looking around the floral greenery, and Johnny zoomed in on the area between Spain and Morocco. C4 Set has placed their dot on somewhere in the Indian Ocean. I believe it's Maldives, I don't know. Johnny has guessed in on Portugal though, and they've locked in on the border basically, and it seems that Johnny was correct, and C4 Set has lost a round, and Johnny's won with a staggering 141 health left. You explain this
like,
area.
Oman. We have the
Oman.
very low houses and the yellow outer lines. The white become like again. It's an empty set, but you can still kind of see the slight blue.
Yeah. It seems that they're not doing much. I'm not really sure if I can commentate on this because, you know, they're not moving the camera or anything, but yeah, it seems that they're looking around the landscape with a lot of orange grass. Seems that C4 Set is zooming on Palestine. Johnny is looking around the map that C4 Set has already seemed to zoom in on one specific area.
Default set is slightly closer, so I guess Colombia just the Ecuador border. It ends up in Oman.
Juhu, explain the area around here.
So we are in France. We have the French blue sticker on the pole. We have the same French pole again, the waffle.
So now, C4 Set and Johnny have spawned in, and with the house and all the floral greenery facing them. C4 Set is zooming in on Austria, while Johnny is seems to zoom in on Eastern Europe. C4 Set is now locked in on Austria. Johnny is still. Now they have locked in on Latvia, I think, and C4 Set has the upper hand. Juhu, explain this area for me.
This is pretty difficult round, but I think it's Mexico. We have these high altitude pines. We can see this is the front of the Google car, so we are driving over the right side of it.
Johnny and C4 Set have now spawned in. C4 Set has opened the map. Seems that they are zooming in on North America. And now they are placing their dot on the eastern United States, and they've already locked in. 10 seconds left on the clock. Johnny seems to frantically move and place his dot on Portugal. 5 seconds left on the clock. They've locked in, and C4 Set wins the round. C4 Set taking the W.
Hey, so welcome. My name is Saka JD, and I'll be your host today. And the two players that will be playing today are Arcadiac and 78K. The map is an arbitrary world, and it's a best of 5 games where the game settings switch between moving, no move, moving, no move, and the final NMPZ game. Just by plain sight, this looks like Spain, Mediterranean climate, some dryness. Actually, this is typical of Greece. This line here is Greek, plus the wooden poles. Yep, so this should be Greece. Both players seem to be facing the same side of the road, but no, it looks like both players take opposite sides of the road. 7AK is trying to zoom past the road as fast as possible, but there's little to no information in this round. Just the guardrails, the wooden poles, and the signposts, which should be able to give you the answer. 30 seconds on the clock, but still no information found by both players. 7AK has seen a car just now, but does not focus on it. Looks like this is going to be an interesting round, as both players will just have to base their guesses on their intuition. Arcadiac opens the map and goes to Canada, Eastern Canada. 7AK hasn't opened the map yet, is about to open the map and places their pin on Central Europe. And it was Greece. Yes, this is Greece, just right beside Turkey. Okay, next round. Looks like we are in South Africa with the typical Gen 4 blue car, left-hand driving. Okay, so our Cadillac sees a city sign. 7AK sees the Afrikaans language. Let's see if 7AK can make a good use of that. Oh, and 7AK sees a major city name. Oh, and this is going to be big. This is going to be big. 7AK seems to be locked into South Africa, which is correct, but our Cadillac seems to be lost. Our Cadillac is zooming down the road as fast as possible to find any information. It looks like this is going to be a tragedy. Oh no, our Cadillac goes into Europe and 7AK is going to lock into South Africa, and this must be game. GG's. GG's to 7AK, who was able to find a sign that said Pretoria. Okay, so looks like off the bat we got some Philippines action. We got the typical Filipino chevrons and the typical Asian architecture, as well as the motorcycle. 7AK looks towards the motorcycle and our Cadillac looks towards the chevrons. Both are trying to take in as much information from the vegetation, which should be able to give you that it's a tropical climate, so it could be anywhere from South America to Asia. So 7AK is zooming in towards South America, which is reasonable from the vegetation. But this could be bad if our Cadillac goes to Asia. So 7AK seems to be locking in towards Venezuela, and our Cadillac is keen on zooming in towards Asia. Oh no. Philippines, oh wow. What a guess by our Cadillac. GG's, what a start by our Cadillac. 4,000 damage on the first round. Looks like this is going to be a hard game for 7AK. Looks like we got some Spain. Valencia is a major city in the north of Spain. Both players immediately zoom in towards the sign on the front. 7AK zooms in towards Europe and seems to be looking at the right area. 7AK looks at Spain and looks at the right area. This is going to be good by 7AK. Let's see if our Cadillac will get Spain as well. So it looks like 7AK picked up Santander from that sign, which is great. But our Cadillac has no clue where we are yet. Looks like 7AK is going to lock in any second now. Our Cadillac opens the map, but hasn't zoomed in at all. It zooms in towards the US, and this is going to be big damage by 7AK. At 1.5 damage. And that's game. What a comeback by 7AK. Got the Swiss flag here, so I think both players should be able to pick up that. Okay, so both players immediately see the Swiss flag, but 7AK decides to skip. 7AK zooms in towards Switzerland, which is great, but has our Cadillac process the Swiss flag at the start. Our Cadillac seems to be going in towards this village, this town, with typical Germanic houses. There's a lot of Swiss flags, but looks like our Cadillac hasn't seen any of them or processed any of them. 7AK is locked in on Switzerland. Our Cadillac, it opens towards Europe and just places it into Central Europe. And what a guess by 7AK. This is going to be big damage. 3,300 points. Ooh. This is a very interesting round here. So this should be Botswana because of the Gen 3 white car, Sun North. 25 seconds left on the clock and both players seem to be pretty lost. And our Cadillac has seen a signpost, which is also a good indicator of Botswana, the striped yellow and black sign. 7AK zooms in towards the US, and our Cadillac zooms in towards Africa, and this is going to be big damage. Is this game? And that's game. GG's by our Cadillac. What a guess. Okay, so it looks like we got a Balkan country again. We got the typical Albania-Montenegro rift on the sky. There's no language that can be helpful within this pan. So this is going to be quite hard for both players, unless they are able to see the rift and identify it. 7AK opens the map and plonks it. Arcadia goes US and 7AK plonks UK. And 7AK takes the lead in the first round. We got right-hand driving. We got wooden poles. This looks to be like Spain off the bat. Arcadic zooms in towards that mountain at the end of the road. 7AK looks at the pavement. Arcadic opens the map and zooms in towards the Philippines. Longs towards the Philippines and locks in towards the Philippines. This could be big damage as 7AK goes to Europe, and 7AK seems to be going Spain. And I think this will be GG's here. Oh, and it's not game yet because it was just ×1 multiplier. Okay, what do we have here? Looks like we got a Canada round. Should be Canada with a single yellow line down the middle. Okay, so both players start to pan around. Zero information. Just a yellow line in the middle, which is a good indicator for the Americas and not Europe. And 7AK opens the map and zooms in towards North America. Longsid just right beside New York State. Goes a bit further down the Appalachian Mountains towards Virginia, and Arcadiac opens the map as well and plonks in South America, and that is game right there. GG 7AK.
Right, so let this round begin.
Okay, so we have Kazakhstan with the white pickup truck, and we have South Mountains with winter coverage. So should be somewhere around the border of Kyrgyzstan. I would say close to Almaty.
Toto and Fufi have now spawned in. They are looking at the truck, and now Fufi zooms in on a car behind the truck. Toto is still looking at that white truck. Fufi now and Toto, they now begin to move. Fufi looks at a telephone pole. Toto takes a stop to analyze the truck a little more. They zoom in on what appears to be an orange sign in the distance. With only 30 seconds left on the clock, are they able to make a proper guess in time? Well then, Fufi also zooms in near a sign. They now open their map, and they place... Nope, they're not placing yet, but now they place their dot on the country of Russia. Toto zooms in, but this time they place their dot and lock in on Kazakhstan. And Toto is much more closer to the actual location than Fufi, and Fufi takes a whopping 3,000 damage.
It's Indonesia with the white lines on left-hand drive, and the language as well, of course. With these poles and these kind of palms, I would say we are somewhere here, the Lessersund Islands, but I don't think the players are gonna notice.
Fufi and Toto have now spawned in on the location. They both zoom in on the Indonesian sign. Toto now moves across the map. They once again take a good look at that sign. Fufi looks at the house, though, nearby, and looks at the advertisements on them. Toto also doing the same. They now have approached the house and zooming in on the advertisements. Toto has now opened their map and zooms in on the Philippines. They place their dot on the Philippines, southern Philippines, and they're zooming in and out on the map. Fufi also opens their map. This time, though, they placed it on South America. Interesting. And they have now locked in on South America. 6 seconds left on the clock. And yeah, Fufi just gets the wrong continent, and Toto wins.
Yeah, and we got Argentina again, so let's see if the players are gonna get this.
Toto and Fufi have now spawned in. Toto zooms in on the hotel sign. Fufi and Toto, they zoom in on the hotel sign. And now Toto zooms in on the green road sign. Fufi analyzing the telephone poles and buildings around them. Yep. And Toto now looks at the sky. Fufi opens their map and zooms in on near the U.S. Mexico. Places their dot on the near the U.S. Mexico border. 20 seconds left on the clock. Toto now opens their map and zooms in on Argentina. This time around the middle. Fufi now locks in on their guess. 5 seconds left, and now Toto locks in on Argentina. And Toto takes a whopping 10,000 damage. And with that, Toto wins the second round of this match.
Looks like Mexico to me. Right-hand drive and white wool car. The goals look pretty Mexican, but I can pretty tell.
Toto and Fufi have now spawned in, and they look around their surroundings. Toto makes the first move along the road, and they zoom in on a blue circular sign along, as well as a house. Fufi also walking along the road. Toto zooms in on a white sign. Fufi zooming in on the grass. 20 seconds left on the clock. And
it's actually Colombia.
yeah. Colombia.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
the Colombian groups.
Yes. Oh. Yep. Fufi places their dot and now locks in on Colombia. 5 seconds left on the clock. Toto now opens their map and guesses Argentina, but Fufi was dead right. And this is, I believe, the first round Toto has actually lost.
Looks like we have Australia again. With these bollards. Left-hand drive. The sign on the left.
30 seconds left on the clock, and neither player has guessed, but Toto has now opened their map. They're zooming in on Australia, between Australia and New Zealand. Fufi actually zooming in on and place their dot on the Netherlands. Meanwhile, Toto zooms in on New Zealand. They place their dot on New Zealand, and in a shocking twist of events, Fufi takes a whopping 55,000 damage.
We have the black car on Eucalyptus trees, so it should be Peru.
And Toto and Fufi have now spawned in on the location. Yep. And they're looking around the map. Fufi zooms in on like a white square small sign. I think it's a baller. I'm not sure if that's baller.
That's random.
A random number. Alright. Less than 30 seconds left on the clock. Toto now zooms in on the mountain in the distance. Fufi's now opened their map. They're zooming in on Bolivia. And they place their dot on Bolivia. 10 seconds left on the clock. Toto is zooming in on Europe, specifically Finland. And yep. Yeah, dang. Toto lost. Fufi really did make a comeback. Oh wow, what is that, a body?
It's the bad quality camera, so this is gonna be very hard for the players. But you can kinda see the palm, which is very common in Cambodia.
Players have now spawned in. Usually they open their maps pretty quickly, but yeah, this time, no. Yep, 40 seconds left. Seems to be very confusing for both players. Now Toto has opened their map. They quickly closed it out. There's 30 seconds left. And neither player has even placed their dot on. 20 seconds left. Toto zooms in on Southeast Asia. Fufi also places their dot on Southeast Asia. Toto places it near Singapore, while Fufi locks in on Thailand. Fufi's much more closer to the location, and Toto is taking 2,500 damage. Dang.
Okay, so this will be somewhere in Alaska. With this very northern landscape, this Google car, and with the Google car driving ahead of us.
Toto and Fufi have now spawned in on the location. Fufi's now opened their map. They're zooming in on Canada, it seems. Yep, they're zooming in on northern Canada. Nope, now they're moving west to near Alaska. They're placing their dot all around northern Canada. Toto has now opened their map. With 20 seconds left on the clock, they now close the map. And not much is happening. Fufi is just moving around the map. Toto's zooming in and places their dot on Turkey. They're locking in on Turkey. That was a horrible guess, and Toto actually loses.
Oh, what's up, Chad? It's your boy Danger Champion here. Yeah, and this is the second and last semi-final round of the NYC Geoguessr contest. And
What's up? My name is Taka JD, and I'll be the analysis person for today's game. I don't know if the players will be able to identify this one, as this country just recently received Google Street coverage, so this is a relatively new country in the game.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Apart from that, all I can tell you is that we are in Namibia.
Right, 1 minute on the clock. The fourth round begins. 7AK and C4 move around the map. 7AK moving much more faster though. They see a building and zoom in on the signs on the building. Seems that it might not be that helpful though. 40 seconds left on the clock, and C4 looks at the same building that 7AK looked. Seems that they're catching up to 7AK. 30 seconds left on the clock, and neither player has opened their map yet. 7AK moves to another building, a yellow one this time. And they're zooming in on that. C4 has opened their map now. They're zooming in on South Africa. And 7AK also opens their map, zooming in on South Africa as well. However, C4 is placing their dot on Nigeria, while 7AK has locked in on South Africa. 2 seconds left on the clock. And it seems that C4 locked in on Nigeria, but 7AK was much closer.
Interesting. This should be game for one of the players, I'd say, as this is a decently sized country. This should be Brazil, given the vegetation and these type of palm trees, which are typically found in the northeastern part of the country. So yeah, we'll see what the players have to do here.
7AK and C4 spawn in on the location. 7AK already moves. They're a very quick one, and they look at the building, but there's pretty much no language. Oh no, scratch that. C4 zooms in on the very faint language, the Portuguese on the building, which would be a pretty helpful hint if they know the differences between Spanish and Portuguese. They zoom in on a telephone pole as well, a gray one, and they now open their map and zoom in on Brazil. 30 seconds left on the clock. 7AK still hasn't opened their map. They seem to be still moving forward, not really stopping to look at any details, and yeah, they're not really finding anything particularly useful, such as a building or a telephone pole. It's mostly greenery. 7AK finally opens their map, and they zoom in on South America, and they lock in on Brazil. 2 seconds left on the clock, and C4 also locks in on Brazil, more eastward though. C4 actually basically kills 7AK, and they win this first match.
Okay, first round of the second game. We got a European round here, and this square concrete type pole is very typical of Belgium, given the setting. We also got a typical red brick houses which you find between the Netherlands and Belgium. So this location should be Belgium.
The first round of the no move match begins. 7K and C4 Shed spawn in. C4 Shed zooms in on the buildings, particularly looking at the brown building, while 7AK looks at the red roofed building. Now they move towards the other direction, and they're looking at the greenery and the grass. There's 35 seconds left on the clock. They look at little sticks on the road. C4 Shed zooms in on a truck though, and 7AK now opens their map. They zoom in on Europe. They close their map, and with 20 seconds left on the clock, neither player has placed their dot yet. 7AK zooms in on Austria, and they place their lock in on Austria. Interesting choice. C4 Shed, on the other hand, they place their dot on North America, and yeah, that was a very interesting round. Yeah, and already on the first round, C4 Shed has more than half of their health taken away.
Oof. Super interesting. It looks like we're back in... Never mind, this is not Europe. This should be Israel, if I'm not confused. Let's see if we got some yellow license plates. Yup.
Oh yeah,
and we got the Hebrew writing here on this truck. But unfortunately, since this round and game is no move, they won't be able to see the language. So, yeah, best of luck to both players.
And C4 Shed, they look at the bottom they look at the road. 7AK also is looking at the road, the lines at the road as well. 35 seconds left on the clock, and neither player has opened their map yet. They're zooming in on the mountains now, the green mountains over there. And there's 20 seconds left on the clock. C4 Shed opens their map. They zoom in on South America. They quickly zoom out. 7K also opens their map. This time they're zooming in on the continent of Europe. 10 seconds left on the clock. They lock in on Southern Europe, where C4 Shed is... Yeah, neither player was able to actually identify the correct country yet. 7AK still is able to maintain their flawless run, dealing 900 damage to C4 Shed.
So, let's see what we got here. We got a typical European round, and looks like this should be Czechia. Got the typical house numbers, which I think are Czech and or Slovenian. Okay, this could be Slovenia actually. Let's see.
Wait, there was the domain code on that one side. It read SK.
.sk. Okay, that's good to know. Yes, so that's Slovakia. So Slovakia and Czechia both have very similar languages. Hence why I thought of Czechia. So but yeah, either way, this is just a typical Central European round. The architecture is also very representative of Central Europe. So yeah, let's see if the players are able to get anything from the architecture.
C4 seems that C4 must be able to accurately guess the location in order to sufficiently win this round. Like they have the very low ground on this.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Seems that C4 has zoomed in on Eastern Europe. They are zooming in on Slovakia, which I believe was the right country.
Yes, it's the right country indeed. This could be game.
Yep. Oh no, never mind. They locked in on Poland. However, 7AK locks in on Spain, and in a shocking twist of events, 7AK loses.
Okay, next round. Looks like we are in Taiwan with these typical Taiwanese paintings on the bottom of the poles, yellow and black striped paintings. And
players spawn in. C4 Shed zooms in on the Taiwanese signs. Yep, and they continue to look at the Taiwanese signs. 7AK zooms past the map. They're moving around, and they look at two trucks over there, one white, one yellow, and they continue to move. Meanwhile, C4set is zoom in on a very tall roads, a very big road sign over there. 7AK zooms in on China. It's southern, eastern China, near Taiwan. They zoom out, they zoom in back again. 10 seconds left on the clock. C4set zooms in on Japan. Well, 7AK locks in on China. Seems that 7AK might actually have the upper advantage. And the round ends, and 7AK is much closer to C4set, and they deal nearly 2,500 damage to C4set.
And it looks like here we are in the good old America, good old US, with the typical double yellow center lines.
40 seconds left on the clock. 7AK and C4set move around their map. It seems that 7AK zooms in on the speed limit sign, and they also zoom in on a housely sign, I believe. 30 seconds left on the clock. Neither player has opened their map yet. Seems that 7AK is chasing that car over there. And they, now 7AK is moving past it. C4set has opened their map, and they seem to zoom in on the eastern United States. 7AK, on the other hand, they also guess on the eastern United States. C4set guesses on Washington. Interesting. C4 is actually much closer to the location though, and they deal a whopping almost 4,000 health. Yeah, and 7AK have around the same health, so very interesting to see what could happen.
Yeah, who knows? And looks like we're back in Germany. Could be Central Germany, West Germany maybe. Let's see.
7AK and C4set, they move around the map. And C4set looks at a yellow road sign. Seems to say it's 30 kilometers on it. And 7AK is still moving around the map. And they zoom in on a white sign on that cage. C4set has now opened their map. They're zooming in on the continent of Europe, specifically Germany, southern Germany at that. 15 seconds left on the clock. And C4set places their dot on southern Germany, where 7AK, they find a yellow sign, and they zoom in on Denmark. They lock in on Denmark.
Looks like this might be game here.
And this might be game. And it seems that C4set is slightly closer. They deal 2,000 damage to 7AK, and they win the round, and thereby winning semi-final match.
What happens here on a Ukraine round with the red Ukrainian car?
Neither of them are below 50%. Will this be the tiebreaker? Let's find out. 50 seconds left on the clock. C4set and Fufi move across the road. C4set is eyeing on that red truck over there. And Fufi is also looking at a truck, though this time it's green. C4set also is now looking at another truck. They're moving across the road. 30 seconds left on the clock. And both players are trying to look for clues, mainly on the cars. 20 seconds left. It seems that neither player has actually noticed the red hull on the Google car. 10 seconds left. Fufi places their dot on the Iberian Peninsula. 5 seconds left. C4set actually hasn't placed their dot yet. They placed their dot on the middle of the United States. Yeah, this was kind of interesting to see. It seems that C4set takes 3,000 damage. They actually guessed the completely wrong continent over there.
Seemingly in Chile with these yellow lines and these Chilean signs.
It seems that they're pretty helpful signs, though, with a very large white sign. It seems like it could help the players. As a matter of fact, Fufi has zoomed in on Chile. They're zooming in on Chile. C4set also doing the same with 20 seconds left on the clock. Neither player has made a guess yet. seems that Fufi's. I assume Fufi's actually trying to guess the specific location in Chile. C4 set places their dot, I believe, on Chile, whereas Fufi also places their dot on Chile, though much more south compared to C4 set. 3 seconds left on the clock. Neither player is locked in.
Oh, that is
and yeah, it seems that C4 set was actually much more closer.
Once again, in Japan with the low cam and in Japanese language.
Fufi and C4 set quickly look at that glass stoplight over there. Yep. And Fufi is now looking at the roads over there. There's a truck very far away. It seems that Fufi has already zoomed in and placed their dot on Japan. C4 set, on the other hand, still is looking around for extra clues. 30 seconds left. Fufi's a guest near the middle of Japan. 20 seconds left. Fufi is now staring into the grassy plain over there. C4 set, on the other hand, has now opened their map. They zoomed in on East Asia. They specifically guessed China. They actually locked in on China. This is the first time C4 set has actually locked in on a match, but it seems that it was not a good lock-in, and Fufi much more closer than C4 set. They deal 2,500 damage.
Now, we do have an extremely difficult round here. I'm not even sure what to guess myself. I could see anywhere in Europe, basically.
C4 set on the low ground, and Fufi is basically going unscathed. Will this match be the tiebreaker? Or will Fufi yet again take another hit at C4 set? Let's find out. 40 seconds left, and C4 set stares at the foliage on the trees. They're now looking around on this very foggy landscape. Fufi doing more or less the same. Seems that neither player has really looked at the ground, though there's not really much helpful clues you can decipher from pretty much anything, unless if you're very skilled at the game. 10 seconds left. Fufi is now opening their map. C4 set also doing the same. Fufi has guessed on Europe, near West Europe. C4 set, on the other hand, still hasn't guessed. They guess on the middle of the ocean. What a guess. And it seems that C4 set has taken a whopping 2,300 damage, and now they have 800 health remaining. They have the very low ground here now.
Next up, we have even more Ukraine with their red car and these poplar trees.
Yeah. The fourth round of this match has begun. C4 set has 800 health remaining, while Fufi still remains unscathed. It's not looking very good for C4 set, especially since of the multipliers in this round. Though there still may be a chance, of course. 40 seconds left on the clock. Fufi and C4 set look around their surroundings. Fufi stares at the trees, while C4 set stares up to the sky into the sun. 30 seconds left. Neither player has placed their dot on the map. Fufi now opens their map. They place their dot around the Balkans, specifically Serbia, I believe. 12 seconds left. C4 set is zooming in on Oregon. Yeah. In this very decisive round. They lock in on Oregon. Yeah, I think, it's pretty easy to tell. C4 set lost very badly. Only 4 rounds. C4 set managed to take hit after hit, while Fufi remained unscathed.
Let's see on another moving round, a very interesting location. It seems to be an perhaps Iberian Peninsula, maybe Spain or Portugal, actually, maybe. Let's see if our contestants are better than me.
Yeah, let's see. The first round of the third match has begun. Now the players can move around the map, hopefully deciphering more clues as to where they are located. C47 and Fufi move around the map. C47 taking a quick stop to view the cattle on the plains. Fufi, meanwhile, zooming right past them. Seems that there's 30 seconds left on the clock. Neither player has opened their map or made a guess. And yep, Fufi is still zooming around the foliage. They stop and look at the green cylinder over there. Fufi now opens their map. They seem to be zooming on the Iberian Peninsula. They guess on the middle of Portugal. C4 sees a sign over there. 2 seconds left on the clock. C4 randomly guesses on Brazil. And wow, that was already a very interesting way to start off this match.
Next up we have Turkey with Turkish bollards and a white car with interesting pine trees. We are going to be perhaps coastal here, or maybe northern. Let's see.
Let's find out. The second round of this match has begun. Fufi already having a very large lead here, though this may change if C4 locks in and Fufi makes a huge blunder. Let's find out. 40 seconds left. C4 zooms in on a very small sign over there. It seems that they're now already opened their map and zooms in on the Balkans. Seems that they're moving around Ukraine to Czechia to Switzerland. Fufi, on the other hand, is looking around their surroundings and moving around. Seems to be staring down at the foliage and the grass. C4 places their dot on Austria, whereas Fufi places their dot on Turkey. 5 seconds left. Neither player is logged in yet. And yeah, it seems that Fufi yet again takes a very strong lead. And already in only 2 rounds, Fufi has won this match yet again unscathed.
A Malaysian flag and I believe a Sarawak flag of the Sarawak province, and a pole which they could use to decipher this Malaysia location. Let's see how our contestants do here.
Yeah. Hopefully they are aware of the province's flags and whatnot. Fufi and C4 start the round and immediately zoom in on the flags. Seems that Fufi has opened their map already with 45 seconds on the clock. And Fufi now places their dot on Malaysia. 40 seconds left. C4 still hasn't placed their dot yet. They're looking around and they now open their map. They zoom in on Southeast Asia. They're heading southwards and now northwards. Fufi has now placed their dot. Could you open the map for me, CFOC?
I cannot open the map. We are looking at.
Oh, sorry. Never mind. Yeah, it seems that Fufi has placed their dot on East Malaysia. Meanwhile, C4 has placed on Myanmar. And it seems that Fufi has taking the very strong lead up here, and they win this match. And since the score is actually 3-1 with Fufi having 3 and C4 having 1, it seems that now Fufi has won the final round of the NYC Geoguessr Tournament, and as such, they have won the NYC Geoguessr Tournament. Everyone give a round of applause to Fufi for this very amazing and talented run over there.